I think we need more thinking.
Nuggets and Spurs in the last game of group play for the NBA Cup. What happened? Let's find out. You're listening to CS 105.1, where I talk about the Nuggets with good vibes. Let's get it.
Let's try to get healthy. Let's stay together. And if we can do that, we'll put ourselves in a good situation.
How's it going, everyone, and welcome. I'm CS Chandler here for another take of Nuggets basketball. If you can tell, I'm in a little bit of a different scenario than I normally am. This is not my studio that I normally film at, but like I said before, I'm on the road right now, so I'm trying to make do with what I got. So I still got my pod mic, though. Hopefully the good sounds are still coming in. But this was a very, very important game. And every single one of these cup games, I would argue, are more important than just cup play, because they are related to the actual regular season. So if you are up by just a half a game on someone in the regular season, a cup loss gets you back a game. So the Lakers, who were gifted this kind of better schedule of being able to get one additional game on the Nuggets, they overtook the Nuggets before this all happened. Before the Nuggets played on Monday, they won against the Grizzlies. Then the Lakers played on Tuesday, and they won. So then they played again today. So because the Lakers and Nuggets are bouncing back and forth of the second seed, the win that the Lakers had on Tuesday got them to the second seed and Nuggets the third seed. And then they played again tonight, and they won. So now they're like a full game ahead of the Nuggets. It's a little unfair to me, but, with the NBA, the way it is, they are going to promote their one of the most profitable teams that they have, because they don't trust enough, or they don't want other people to support the Nuggets. So they support their golden child of the Lakers. Despite the Lakers being notorious cap circumventing, income coming from nowhere, kind of team, that they've allowed them to be able to get this better schedule here, and also to go undefeated in cup play. So to this game, let's go on to this game. This game was already hands down a very, very difficult game to have gone in, regardless of whether or not Wemby was going to be playing, which obviously he wasn't going to be because he's out right now. This was a very good Spurs team. They play hard, and they show that because they also have Fox, and they have a lot of guys wanting to prove themselves right now. And the big takeaway, I'm going to get into a bigger takeaway than this, but my overall takeaway right now is just that the Spurs without Pop, Greg Popovich, for all you that don't know, Coach Popovich, the winningest coach of all time in the NBA, without him, the Spurs are a very, very dirty team. They are not the same team that they were when they were under Pop. Pop had a lot of integrity that came with it. And this new one under Mitch Robinson, who just has a face that you want to punch. I can't stand that guy. And he's leading them into a very, very dirty play style. And I get it. When you're facing teams like OKC, who will draw random ass fouls for no reason and flop like crazy. I don't know if you all saw the matchup with the OKC and Timberwolves, where Hartenstein barely got grazed by Gobert, and then did this over-the-top dramatic fall to the floor. Like, dude, you barely got your nose touched, and you're falling to the floor. Come on, have some respect. Like, where did the respect go for some of these players today? It just is really disgusting the way that sometimes this game has played. It feels a little bit more like FIFA. The NBA did not foul bait this hard, especially in the 90s. I know there's a lot of old heads that talk always about the 90s, but they got a point. The Nuggets or the NBA played differently than they do now. And a lot of it is faster, but it's not just that. It's also the foul baiting. It's gone way too over the top. They focused it so heavy on foul baiting that's now part of the game. That is like the game. You win if you baited fouls more than the other team. Case in point, SGA. Case in point, LeBron James, or Luka. Those are part of their arsenal now. And that is why we constantly see Jokic over the top trying to flop, because he's not getting the calls that he should be getting by playing regular, good basketball. And so that going into this game, the Spurs got the win over the Trailblazers on, Wednesday. And that actually gave the driver's seat to the Nuggets, with the odds of them winning this game over the Spurs. And by all rights, they should win this game. They should win this game. They should blow out the Spurs, because the Spurs, despite how good they are with or without Wemby, they are not a contending team to win the championship. Those are only two teams in the Western Conference. That is the Nuggets and OKC. Maybe the Lakers or Rockets will tie there for the third contending team. But those two right there, the Nuggets and OKC, and it's only OKC just because of what I said before. On the other side, obviously, you got your contenders of the Pistons and the Knicks. We'll see about Toronto. It's kind of crazy how good of a run they're having right now. But to come back to this is just that the Nuggets should win this game. And the Spurs, on Wednesday, we were rooting for the Spurs. Us Nuggets Nations were rooting for the Spurs. And they won. They gave the seat to the Nuggets. And so going in, this was in Mile High. It was the final the final game of group play, taking on the Spurs, the San Antonio Spurs, and the winner advances to the quarterfinals. The quarterfinals are not held in Vegas. I was kind of wrong about that. I thought that they were going to be held in Vegas. They're apparently just the semifinals and the finals. We've gotten this the third year, and I'm just now remembering this. But so the winner of this would actually most likely go to LA to face the Lakers. And so the injury list was the same as before. No AG, no CB, no Julian Strawther. And the Nuggets have got to find a way to fill the gap where AG and CB are. I 100% will die on a hill saying that CB matters to the team. We have seen it time and time again. I know there's a lot of Nuggets fans upset that CB hasn't been the same that he was last season, but it matters in the little spots that CB does. He just disrupts the offense constantly. He may not be the best shooter. He may rely more in the paint, but we don't need him to be a three-shot maker. We don't need that. We have Cam for that. We have Jamal for that. We have Jokic for that. We have Tim Hardaway Jr. for that. We don't need CB to be drilling threes. We need him defensively, and he has been good defensively, and that is shown in this stint since he was in the lineup yet. Excuse me, I'm just gonna my voice is starting to go on me because I was yelling so much during the game. This was just crazy. So excuse me. So CB is still out. They need to find a replacement for him. P-Watt has been very, very good in the absence of both AG and CB. P-Watt has shown up very, very well. And then Julian Strawther, I mean, that's where I would agree a lot with Nuggets Nation, is Julian Strawther. He has not been the impressive role player that you would want him to be. Last season, he was way better than this season, and I kind of was hoping that he would be much more improved. But he has not been improved. And then to top it off, he also has a lower back injury. So, like, where is he going at right now? We need, and we do need him. Like, the Nuggets definitely need Julian Strawther. If he were to show up, the Nuggets would be a more dominant team than they are right now. But obviously the biggest hole that the Nuggets have right now is the lack of AG. AG, man, not only is AG the best defender on the Nuggets, the toughest defender on the Nuggets, the toughest player on the Nuggets, and now contending for the second best offensive player, you know? AG, man, Mr. Nugget out, and the Nuggets are feeling that. The Nuggets are 100% feeling the absence of no AG. They managed to get a win in Memphis against the Grizzlies, but let's get real. The Grizzlies are in a world of chaos right now. They can't even decide whether or not they want, pizza or spaghetti. Like, they're just way too chaotic. They can't come on the same page of anything. And then the whole issues with John Morant and the head coach. I mean, we're seeing a lot of what's going on with Memphis right now, the same that we saw last season with Miami Heat. If you remember, before Jimmy Butler left, there was a lot of pushback between Jimmy Butler and the front office, and now we're seeing that with John Morant. So clearly it will probably most likely end with John Morant getting traded, but that team is a wreck, and we barely beat them. So what does that say about the Nuggets? I mean, I feel like that says a lot still about the Grizzlies. Like, some of those guys still on that team, that squad, still have a desire to win, and they're going to play hard enough to try to get that. But the Nuggets have just got to find the replacement for the gap that this, with no AG, is leading us to. So, with no AG, the Nuggets starters had Jamal Murray, Cam Johnson, Peyton Watson, Spencer Jones once again. For some reason, Adelman is really liking having Spencer Jones in the starting lineup, and I don't 100% agree with him on that. I would like there to be someone else. I mean, you've already tried that now, 3 times? One of them resulted in a loss. One of them resulted in a win. I guess hopefully this is the deciding factor, like, hey, maybe we switch it up and we put Spencer Jones on the bench again. But the other, and then you had Jokic, obviously. But the other factor here is that before this game, the Nuggets sent back Deron Holmes to the G League. Why? I just listed off how you have a hole missing with AG, and who could fill that hole? Deron Holmes. Why the heck are you sending him back to the G League? And apparently Curtis Jones stayed, and yet you didn't use him at all tonight. A lot of frustrations there for sure, as you can see. I really strongly, I get frustrated at Adelman for not trusting more in Deron Holmes. I know he's young. I know this is the first official NBA season that he'd be playing, but how many rookies are getting like starting lineups right now, or they're getting key minutes? I mean, case in point, Queen of the Pelicans. You got Flag on the Mavs. You got Con Kneppel on the Charlotte Hornets. Like, give Deron Holmes some freaking minutes, man. Get him in there. Like, if you want him to freaking grow, get him more NBA minutes, not more G League minutes. You know who also crushed it on the G League? I think I said this last episode. You know who also crushed it in the last year in the G League? Trey Alexander. And how well did he do in the NBA? Not very well. I mean, I think he's actually what was he? He's either on the Spurs or on the Pelicans now, right? So, I mean, you got to get these guys NBA minutes, not G League minutes, NBA minutes. Which, sidetrack too, I don't know if you saw the info, but apparently the Warriors also sent Jonathan Kuminga back to G League. That's crazy. And Milton. That's crazy. So, I mean, at least they're not sending, well, actually, I kind of would rather the Nuggets send back Zeke Naji to G League than Dron Holmes. I mean, he could probably give you better minutes than Zeke Naji right now, or send Hunter Tyson to G League. Man, frustrating things with the Nuggets right now. So, the Nuggets were wearing their mile-high blue jerseys, and the Spurs were wearing their white jerseys, and those Spurs got the win over the Nuggets, 139-132. It was not easy, and that's not right. That's 139-136, not 132. They won by 3. It was the final quarter, so I mixed that up, but still, 139-136, Spurs. So what happened in this game? Well, we're going to break it down because this is crazy. The first quarter, you could tell, was the story of the first quarter was a lack of defense. The Nuggets just did not show up. But to their credit, the Spurs didn't show up with defense either. This was a lack of defense overall. Both teams, 0 defense in the first quarter. Until maybe like the last couple of minutes that allowed the Spurs to pull ahead a little bit. But so the Spurs win the tip, and a jump shot from Vassell on the wing gets Spurs the first bucket of the game. Murray then responds with a deep 3 to get the Nuggets on board and quick lead before Spurs come back with a short 2 in the paint. And then Spencer Jones gets the steal, and Jamal with a floater gets the Nuggets up by 3. Champagnie gets a 3 to tie it, and then on another end, P-Watt gets a putback off of a Jones miss 3. And then both teams are just go back and forth, trading buckets. No defense playing whatsoever. And Murray finally draws the first foul of the game on Barnes and make both buckets. And then Adelman takes the first timeout of the game as both teams just continue to stop playing defense. And you could tell that they were just not in it. The craziest thing, too, is just that the Nuggets had 3-day game rest before this. They had 3 days to rest. You can't, I can understand losing those last 2 home games because you were on such a difficult back-to-back and a horrendous schedule that the NBA biasly gave you. And so I get that, but you had 3 days rest. How much more rest do you need being a professional athlete to get back in the groove of things? Spurs already played on Wednesday, so they went from playing in Portland then to flying to the Mile High, where altitude was supposed to be in our favor tonight. And yet the Nuggets were playing sluggish. The Nuggets were playing lack of defense. Again, so were the Spurs, but still, this was still very frustrating to watch out of the gate. So Adelman takes the first timeout, and then out of the timeout, Spencer Jones gets fouled, misses both free throws. In these practices, these short practices that they are able to get, are they not practicing free throws? Why are the Nuggets constantly missing free throws? They should be getting time. And if they're not playing, why don't you just take your ass to the gym and make some free throws? Practice your free throws constantly. I know that's what Steph Curry does. He is constantly practicing his shot. And that's why he's one of the greatest shooters to ever play the game. Spencer Jones, I love him defensively, but offensively, man, the guy leaves much to be desired a little bit in the offensive realm. He's not as bad as Hunter Tyson, but still, to miss free throws are the easiest bucket you will make. And yeah, he's missing them like he's not at home, that he's on the road. So Jokic gets a pass from Tim Hardaway Jr. picked off, which leads to a fast break dunk by the Spurs, followed by Johnson of the Spurs picking off the ball from Jokic that luckily goes out of bounds. And Johnson from the Spurs end was, man, he was creating an enemy with me, man. That dude is just a very unlikable dude. He is so complainy and then so aggressive on the same end, and then like if it's not going his way, he's gonna throw a tantrum. Like, obviously he will fit just fine in the league today because that's all a lot of those players do. Like he obviously learned from LeBron James or something of that nature. But so he picks it off and luckily it goes out of bounds, and then Johnson then gets tagged with a defensive 3 immediately after this, sends Murray to the line for the free throw. He makes it, and then Peyton Watson drills a 3 to give the Nuggets a 3-point lead. Spurs managed to battle back with a lack of defense from the Nuggets and tie the game at 29, followed by a 3 from a pop and shoot from Waters. Waters of all people. I don't know if you remember, Waters used to be on the Golden State. Then he went to the Pistons, and now he's in the Spurs, drilling a 3 for them to get them up. Zeke then checks in and immediately fouls Fox. This is what I'm talking about. Send Zeke back to the freaking G League. What is going on here? Fouls Fox on a reach-in for the and one. And then Nuggets defense really lulls as the Spurs build a 6-point lead. Brucey B turns the ball over, and in the final seconds, the Nuggets lose the first quarter 41-33. They allowed 41 points in the first quarter, people. Where was the defense? Where was the defense? I almost feel this frustration. I don't know if you all saw that viral video of the Kings fan, the guy from Brooklyn who moved to Sacramento and he's like a seasonal ticket holder now for the Kings, and he was squawking at what's his name? Why am I blanking on his name? Zach Levine. He was squawking at Levine and telling him to play defense, and there's a whole big thing. But I kind of feel the frustration there, because man, the defense from the Nuggets on the first quarter was left much to be desired there too. So, but I will give the Nuggets credit. They played a horrible defensive first quarter, but the second quarter was their best quarter. They had this game locked up in the second quarter, and if they had just continued to play the same way that they played in the second quarter, this would have been a blowout win for the Nuggets, 110%. So the Nuggets start off the quarter with a lineup of Big Val, Zeke, Brucey B, Cam Johnson, and Tim Hardaway Jr. as Hardaway Jr. gets a floater for the first bucket of the quarter. Nuggets get a Spurs turnover, and Tim Hardaway Jr. misses a 3, but Zeke, with the cleanup, gets the putback for a Nuggets 4-0 run. Cam then misses a 3, but Zeke collects the rebound, gives the Nuggets a second chance points as Big Val drains a jump shot for a 2 and makes it a 2-point game as Spurs take a timeout. Cam Johnson with the cleanup makes it a 8 straight to tie the game. The Nuggets opened the second quarter on an 8-0 run. Fox finally gets a jump back to get the Spurs on board and reclaim the lead, which is just kind of frustrating after you see them do so well to gain or tie the game up, and then they just kind of get these easy buckets. Hardaway Jr. then on the fast break charges the rim right at Cornette, gets the shot blocked but draws the foul and goes to the line to make both free throws and give the Nuggets the lead again. And then short-lived as Vassell drains a 3 and immediately jumps back for a 2-shot for a 5-0 run led specifically by Vassell, and also gets the Spurs first to 50. So we're already at 50, like midway or less than less than midway through the second. We're already at 50 points, and like you can see that this is going to be a very difficult matchup for sure. Not as easy as you would have thought. And again, going back to the last statement a couple of episodes ago, says there is no easy matchup. There are competitive teams, but there are matchups where you would expect the Nuggets to blow out the other team. That was not in this one. It could have been. It could have been. So Murray then checks back in at the 6:53 mark, and Jokic checks back in at the 5:32 mark, because nothing really happened good between 6:53 and 5:32. So you had to check Jokic back in. And then Nuggets get a shot clock violation. Immediately when Jokic checks back in is when the Nuggets start to actually heat up. So the Nuggets get a shot clock violation on the Spurs, and Cam gets the layup to tie the game. Jokic then throws the ball up, trying to draw the foul, doesn't get the foul called, but gets the rebound and puts it back in, plus gets the foul called on the second attempt to get to the line for the three-point play, but then misses the free throw. Like, him and Jamal missing free throws is very uncharacteristic of them. Like, you can tell that they're tired, and you can tell that they're also still leading the team, like, on their backs. And I'm sure that it's really difficult, but man, where Jokic had said earlier that the Nuggets aren't playing well, I think you can also, as much as I love Jokic and as much as I will praise him all day, there are areas where I have just seen that he should also be playing well. He should be playing better at, you know? Like, there's been a lot of times where he's just not even throwing any effort out there to try to defend, try to get the ball. I mean, he's given up the most amount of turnovers out of any Nugget this season. That game where he had 9 turnovers, it's crazy. That's crazy. So, Nuggets then come back with back-to-back buckets to give the Nuggets a 4-point lead, followed by a 3 from Cam to make it 7-point lead, and then Cam picks off the pass and on the fast break gets the dunk. This was the play of the night. There's another play that was really cool that we'll talk about hopefully soon here, but that was the play of the night. Cam reading the offense, the Spurs offense, getting the pick off the pass, and then on the fast break gets the dunk, which is the start of where the refs started to go against the Nuggets, because in that play, if you watch that play, Barnes, who was the one that got the ball picked off of, 130% fouls Cam as he's going up for the rim. And had it been like a Fox going up for the rim, he would have gotten the foul and the bucket, not Cam. Cam did not get the foul called, though it was, because watch it again. If you haven't seen it, watch it, because he hits his arm. You can't hit the arm, and yet he hits the arm, and Cam just gets owned the bucket, not the foul. So this is where it starts to get very, very unfortunate for the Nuggets officiating-wise, because up until now, I will say that the game was decently officiated up until now. And then you saw this, and you're like, what the fuck, ref? What the hell? So, on the second steal after this, P-Watt then gets a steal and gets on a fast break, and then he gets fouled, not able to make the bucket and won, but he does make both free throws to get the Nuggets a 10-point lead, and Nuggets go on a 15-0 run. Jokic with a behind-the-back dime to Spencer Jones for the layup. So this would probably be either a tie for play of the game, or if not, maybe a little bit better. But I still really love that Cam pick off into the dunk, just because I'm really cheering for Cam right now. Jokic, though, you know, he's Jokic, and I know that we start to get desensitized to a lot of the plays that he's doing right now. But that was a pretty sick behind-the-back pass to Spencer Jones, and glad for Spencer Jones to be a part of that highlight right there. I hope that he does get the credit there. But yeah, that Jokic, man, he is definitely the best passing big man, 100%. I know there'll be arguments for other players and everything, but just the sheer brilliance and the timing. Still, I know a lot of people have other passes that are better in their eyes, or the best play of that Jokic has passed in than this one. But for me, the best Jokic pass of all time was last season against the Bucks in the Mile High, when he throws it right past Lopez's head, gets to AG for the dunk. AG wasn't even there. he was still traveling, but managed to get there right at the exact second that the ball met him. That timing is just phenomenal. So that is my favorite. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Jokic pass is. I would love to hear it. But for me, that one, oh man, it's actually, I love it so much that I put it in my opener, my intro. If you notice, it's the last one, the no look pass, the no looker, right? I love that play so much. That is such a good pass from Jokic. Definitely my favorite. But this one was pretty good too. That one with P-Watt in the Grizzlies game, that was also pretty awesome. So Jokic, man, just diming it up. And so that ends the quarter there. Murray also in the final seconds draws the foul, gets the line to make both free throws, and the Nuggets outscore the Spurs. Listen to this. The Nuggets outscored the Spurs 41-18. That's right. Fucking 41-18. That's how this game should have been from the start to the finish. 41-18 every single quarter is how the Nuggets should have played. But the refs, those damn refs, would not allow that to happen. And that's where I'm stuck. I really, really judge those earpieces. Those earpieces did not comfort, I don't think, any fan. I mean, even for fans on teams that I don't like, I can understand you also questioning this. I feel like all of us fans need to question this. This is just like, especially when you have such heat on the NBA right now for investigation of rigged games and everything. Like, you have an earpiece now in your ref's ear. How do we know that that's really to the recalls or the replay center? How do we know? We don't. We have zero evidence that actually shows that they're being contacted by the replay center and not someone in the front office of the NBA saying, yeah, let's now is the time to switch this game or whatever, because a lot of the times you will see the game going right, being evenly called and everything, and then they'll just be like that, and then all of a sudden the officiating goes to shit and bad calls are being called or missed calls are happening or turnovers or whatever. That is just like, what the hell? What is going on here? Like, clearly there is the officiating is ruining sports in general, overall. I know the NBA is not new to this, or they're not the only ones to this. I know that this has been happening for years with FIFA. I know this has been happening for years in NFL. It happens in the NHL. It happens in MLB. So I get it, but it needs, like, sports in general needs to be investigated, for sure. The officiating in sports need to be investigated, because this is just ridiculous. So third quarter, the Nuggets start off with the starters as Murray starts the quarter off with a big three, starting to give us a little hope. Champagne then responds with, Champagny, I should say, responds with back-to-back threes. And P-Watt gets a major block, followed by a three by Jones. And then Jamal and Vassell go back and forth with some threes until Jamal finally outdoes Vassell. And the Nuggets had, in this quarter, their highest lead of 18. You had an 18-point lead in the third quarter. Not even at the start of it. It was like more towards the mid of the third quarter. And then you end the game down 3. So Jamal then to Jones, draws the defense, kicks it to Cam, and in the corner pocket makes the 3. Beautiful play. Like, just the ball was popping from Jamal to Spencer Jones, finds the open man of Cam in the corner, bank 3. Beautiful. P-Watt on the other end fouls Champagny at the arc. Luckily, he misses the bucket, but goes to the line and makes all 3. Champagny was just annoying, man. He is like the biggest bum in Texas, right? Texas basketball. He is the biggest bum. I cannot stand that dude. He complains all the time. I can't stand the complaining, and especially when it's unwarranted. Like, he only complains when things aren't going his way, even though they're legitimate calls against him or, whatever. Like, unless he it makes me feel like he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, to be honest. I'm sure he complains when he doesn't get the right pizza or the right order at some place. Like he's probably a horrible tipper. Like he is a huge bum and I can't stand him. So this is my hating take right now. So welcome to CS's hate corner. So Cam then draws the charge on Barnes, and then Jamal fouls Champagnie at the arc, gives Spurs a 4-point play. That was stupid. Like, you fouled them at the arc twice. And a lot of that, too, was the refs. The refs allowing that to happen. Some of them weren't fouls, and some of them were. But they stuck with their biased judgments so much so that the Nuggets didn't have a chance. Jamal then draws the defense, again passing it to Cam for a big three. But that foul on Champagnie is just stupid, man. Like, what are we doing here? Don't foul the jump shooters. Piwot then on the other end fouls Champagnie, and at the arc, luckily the bucket is missed, but he still goes to the line for three. Nuggets then, their defense just goes into a huge lull, and they don't box out, allowing the Spurs to score second chance points and cut the lead to 8. An 18-point lead cut to 8. Brucey B then gets Harper locked up, and this was stupid. This is one of my main points for why this was such a biased game. Brucey B locked up Harper. There is absolutely no evidence of there being a foul, and yet the refs called this a foul. It should have been a jump ball. There was no foul in there at all, and if there's any Spurs fan out there who can prove me otherwise by sending me actual evidence of what is actually a foul there, because I can't see a single freaking foul there. He locked him up. There was no hitting him. There was no tripping him. He locked him up, and the momentum of Vassell, or Harper, I should say Harper caused him to fall down. And yet that would not be the case. The refs would call it a foul and force Adelman to use one of his challenges, which thank God finally he uses a challenge. And it's just unfortunate that the refs would not overturn it, and they would keep their biased call of that being a foul. That was not a foul. That should have been a jump ball. So he goes to the line, and they basically give him 2 points for that. The officiating, the refs give the Spurs 2 points for that. And Jokic then gets fouled on the other end at the arc, goes to the line, makes all 3, and gets the Nuggets first to 100. Then Nuggets offense goes cold, like straight cold, and the defense goes into lull. And this is the worst part of when you have a lead, is allowing the offense, your opponent's offense to gain momentum while your defense is lulling. If they start to gain momentum, you need to amp back up and remember that the game is not done. Let's still keep forward. And they went into this big lull, and they aren't able to box out, and this 3 after 3 is being made by the Spurs, and the Spurs chip down the lead to 3. The Nuggets lead gets chipped down to 3. And then Olynyk gets a 3 to give the Spurs a 2-point lead. Cam then sinks a 3 to give the Nuggets a 1-point lead, and they stay on top, but the Spurs still outscored the Nuggets 44-30. Not great. Not great. Fourth quarter starts, and the Nuggets start off with a lineup of Big Val, Zeke Naji, Brucey B, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Cam Johnson. The same kind of lineup that they had in the second quarter, hoping that they would give them some kind of momentum to end this game on. And unfortunately, the refs just would not let that happen. So Cam, and actually on both ends, the Nuggets and the Spurs aren't able to make a bucket. Finally, Cam drains a three to get the first bucket of the quarter. Big Val backs Cornet up and turns around for the floater. And then Fox knifes through the Nuggets defense for the layup to get the Spurs on the board. And followed by back-to-back threes by Vassell, who was kept on being left open for these freaking threes, giving the Spurs a 2-point lead. Tim Hardaway Jr. then responds with a huge three, give the Nuggets a 1-point lead. And then Big Val defends Cornet well enough to secure the rebound. And on the other end, Tim Hardaway Jr. sinks another three to give the Nuggets a 4-point lead. So you get these leads, and the best thing you need to do, defense. Get the stops to continue to build the lead. And the Nuggets didn't do that, but it's also, again, partially because the refs wouldn't allow them to do that. Any kind of hint of a little bit of touch on the Spurs, foul. It was so stupid. So, back-to-back threes by the Spurs give them a 2-point lead again, and then Jokic checks back in at the 6:28 mark as P-Watt from the Yoke lob ties the game at 117. And this is where I started to die off on taking notes here because it was just starting to get way too frustrating. Nuggets then commit back-to-back turnovers that give the Spurs a 4-point lead. Bias officiating gives the Spurs a blatant out-of-bounds calls that they just give to the Spurs, and then the fouls that just aren't fouls, they're getting the fouls. To then put the dagger on it, Vassell keeps getting left open, and he drains another back-to-back threes to give the Spurs 6-point lead and 54 seconds left on the clock. And when you have 6 points left, or when you're down 6 with 54 seconds left, there is only like one clutch player that I can think of that would turn this around, Steph Curry. And I kept on wishing that Jamal Murray would turn in to Steph Curry here, because you were down this much, and instead of going for a three, which Jamal easily could have made a three, he goes in for a driving layup for 2 that cuts it down to like 4. Like, what are you doing, Jamal? Do you not read the scoreboard? Like, they're not going to foul you. They're going to let you concede that bucket there, and then they know they're going to get fouled, and then you're just going back and forth with 2. And you play the numbers game, you're not going to win that way. You got to hit the threes. So, obviously that's what happened, and the Spurs outscore the Nuggets 36-32, and they win once again 139-136. They go on to advance in the cup. They're probably going to LA to face the Lakers. And the Nuggets now will get 2 additional games. We'll see which games those are. My guess is there's probably going to be a game against the Kings, and there might be one against the Clippers, I believe. That's what my guess is going to be. We'll see. But I think there's going to be a Clippers and a Kings game, because those two are two teams that we only have 3 games against. So I have a feeling we're going to play the Kings once again, which I was kind of hoping that we would be done with playing the Kings, but whatever. We are here now. So this is my big takeaway. The Nuggets might have lost tonight, but it took the refs to give the Spurs the win. Yeah, there was a lot of the Nuggets didn't play the right way, or they didn't do the right thing, and the game should have been a blowout win against the Spurs, but the calls the refs were making made it more difficult to win this game. When the refs would give out-of-bounds calls, they would give it to the Spurs when it was clearly off of the Spurs. And foul calls would be biased against the Nuggets in favor of the Spurs. So the Nuggets couldn't do anything. This was an incredibly frustrating game in the second half when the Spurs were just gifted points after points. And on top of that, they became Lou Dort level dirty. So the home losses keep plaguing the Nuggets now. But we've seen this before, and it ended with the Nuggets winning the chip. The plus side of this is that there is no NBA Cup distraction now for the Nuggets. They can now focus on the regular season rather than the distraction of winning this chip or winning this cup. And the other thing is, no NBA team that has won the cup has gone on to win the chip. So the Nuggets can now focus on what is most meaningful in the season now and get back down to business. Now let's get into the stats here. So stat-wise, let me bring my stats up. Give it a second here. They were up, and now that they refreshed, and I hate when they refresh like that. So, all right. So stats-wise, Spencer Jones played 22 minutes tonight, made 9 points. He had 1 rebound, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. He was 4 for 9 from field, 1 for 5 from 3, 0 for 2 from free throws. He had 1 turnover, 1 personal foul, was a +8. Peyton Watson played 33 minutes tonight, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. He was 5 for 11 from field, 1 for 5 from 3, 4 for 4 from free throws. He had 1 turnover, 3 personal fouls, was a +4. Peyton Watson, man, I'm telling you, he has really improved this season, and he should be in the candidacy for most improved player tonight, this season. If he isn't, then it's totally rigged. Like, he has been phenomenal tonight, this season. Nikola Jokic played 36 minutes tonight. He had 21 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists. He was 1 for 1, he had 1 steal, 1 block. He was 7 for 10 from field, 1 for 1 in 3 points. He was 6 for 8 from free throws, 4 turnovers, 5 personal fouls. It was a -6. So they actually took away a rebound. He had a triple-double, and they took it away from him because he was pushed. And so they actually went into a foul rather than him getting the rebound, which is, again, another kind of bullshit call. Like, yes, it should have been a foul, and he got that foul, but he should have also gotten the rebound because he did rebound it before he was pushed. The NBA refs, man, I'm just telling you, like, it's going to be like this all season, and I'm not ready for it. I'm just not. Like, it's way worse. It seems like it's getting worse every single season. And if you want people to check into the NBA games, NBA, you need to tamper the freaking officiating. It is so frustrating. Cam Johnson played the most amount of minutes tonight of any Nugget. He played 36 minutes tonight, and he also balled out. And again, I need to put this out there, because we were complaining so much that Cam wasn't getting buckets in, and every time that happened, we won games. Now that he's making buckets, we are losing games. And I love that he's making buckets. Don't get me wrong. I love that he's getting buckets. But does it really have to be at the cost of us losing games? Like, why can't the Nuggets just figure out a way to win these games when Cam Johnson is finally on fire? So he played 37 minutes, right? He made 28 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. He had 2 steals, 1 block. 10 for 16 from field, 6 for 9 from 3, 2 for 2 from free throws, 3 turnovers, 3 personal fouls, was a +7. Jamal Murray, he was the leading scorer of tonight with 36 minutes played. He had 37 points. The Blue Arrow showed out, and he had 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 block, 13 for 20 from field, so a 75%. Only 5% less than Jokic. He was 5 for 8 from 3, 6 for 7 from free throws, 2 turnovers, 4 personal fouls, was a +4. Bench-wise, we're not going to get into much bench, but I did want to get into Tim Hardaway Jr., who I continue to praise. He has been a blessing for the Nuggets, and it sucks that we've been on losing streaks now at home, because he deserves to get praised at home for these wins whenever they win. But Tim Hardaway Jr., 28 minutes tonight, 15 points off the bench, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 for 10 from field, 2 for 7 from 3, 5 for 5 from free throws, 2 turnovers, 2 personal fouls, was a -16. That is crazy. The only plus bench player tonight was Valanciunas with a +3. He did play 12 minutes tonight, though. So again, I appreciate that, Edelman, that you allowed him at least 12 minutes. I mean, I still would have played him a little bit more, but, whatever. So, overall stats here, we had 44 rebounds to their 35. So we even out-rebounded them. When you're out-rebounding, you're supposed to win, but you need to make the shots after rebounding. So we had 27 assists to their 30, 5 steals to their 10. We had 5 blocks to their 5. We shot 52% from field. They shot 48%, so we were even shooting better than they were. Again, this is the refs. I'm telling you, it's the freaking refs disrupting the game. And I know that the Nuggets need to get past that, and they need to play past the refs. But when the refs are literally giving the ball when it's not supposed to be to the Spurs, they are still giving them to the Spurs and saying, no, I don't want to hear it from you. We're giving it to them because we want them to win. That's the kind of feel that I got from this whole thing. So we shot 41% from 3. They shot 40%. We shot 80% from free throws. They shot 93%. We had 16 turnovers. They had 8. We had 22 personal fouls. They had 27. And yet they won. Man, it's the little things. It's not even like stat stuff. It's the little things. It's the officiating literally giving the ball to the Spurs who didn't deserve the ball. That's the little things right there. And it puts the Nuggets back on defense when they should have been on offense. You saw them literally frustrated by the officiating tonight. Like, even Timar Jr. and Jokic both, like, they had a little bit of tantrums. I will say they've had tantrums, but it was well deserved, or understandable tantrums. It's just, this was not the game that you were hoping for a home stand against the Spurs, unfortunately. So we'll see. Tomorrow they're on the road. It's a back-to-back. It's the first game of back-to-back, right? And so far the Nuggets have been a better road team than they have been at home, which is not what you want from the team that's supposed to have the most difficult home court of any team in the NBA. The altitude is supposed to have an effect. Not tonight. Spurs, had the refs in their pocket, and they were able to play dirty, and then they were able to also utilize their timeouts to give their players enough rest time to stay in the game. And it is what it is. It's unfortunate, but now we have to look to a bounce back win in Phoenix against a very, very dominant Suns right now. The Suns are playing very, very well. They're playing good basketball. They're getting the wins. Even the standings show it. If we go to standings right now, we have OKC is on an 11-game winning streak right now, which is just stupid. We have this is, come on, refresh. This is, so they're on an 11-game winning streak. We have the Lakers in the 2nd seed. The Houston Rockets are at the 3rd seed, which, they have 12-4, and we have 13-5. And so we're now tied with the Spurs, but because the Spurs won tonight, they get the advantage. So stupid. So we're at the 5th seed. The Suns are at the 6th seed. That's how good the Suns are doing. They did get a loss. Did they lose tonight? I think they lost to OKC. But not by much. They lost by 4 to OKC. So I gotta say, they are a huge surprise for me this season. The Suns are. So, hats off to them. It's not going to be an easy game tomorrow. They're going to be looking for a bounce back win too. Like, the hits just keep on coming, man. I'm telling you. And to top it all off, the Avs lost tonight. They were on a 10-game winning streak. Or today, not tonight, but today. They were on a 10-game winning streak, and they still have not. They've only have one regulation loss, or one loss in regulation. They lost in a shootout to the Minnesota Wild. So their 10-game winning streak ended today, but at least they kept, or it went to not a regulation loss, so they still have that going for them, as well as the Nuggets still have their road win streak going, but that will be in jeopardy tomorrow as they're in Phoenix, and I believe the Avs are going to be home tomorrow, so they also have a back-to-back. It's just like chaos right now with these teams. So, but the big thing there is just that I really trust in both of those teams. I know that they're going to be better after these losses, and they will find ways to win. And it might not be the Nuggets' time in this half of the season right now, but the second half I feel like is going to be much better. They're going to have to make a trade. They're going to have to. They're just, right now, things are just not going the right way that they want to go, and especially with 3 key starters out on injuries, you got to make a trade. And I think that should be Julian Strawther. If not, maybe make some kind of deal that lumps Julian Strawther, Zeke Naji, and Hunter Tyson, just give them the bad duds. I don't know if they can do that, but if anyone can do it, Ben Wallace can do that. So let me know in the comments what you thought about this game and what you think about the Nuggets' future right now. I'm still up on them. I still think that they have a lot going for them and that this is going to be a very good season for them. This one loss, yeah, they're on 5 losses now, but, it's still good for them to hopefully win 60 games, and that would still be the franchise best. And, if they were to do that, that would be something that even the chip Nuggets weren't able to do. So we'll be all right. We'll be all right. It's just it sucks right now, especially after a frustrating home loss. And now you've gotten 3 losing streak at home. We've lost the last 3 games at home, and that's I think one of the even the bigger frustrations there. But we'll see what happens now, and hopefully the Spurs get tired out with playing an extra game with the cup and everything, and now I guess I'll be still rooting for the Knicks to hopefully win the cup, but we'll see. But that's all I got for you in this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe. Share it out to your friends and family. And if you feel generous enough to give me a donation, I would really appreciate it. The link is in the description below, as well as on the profile page. You can even tack on a take of the game or of the team or of the season or of another sport if you want. I'll shout it out for you. Really appreciate it. But you've been listening to CS 105.1, where I talk about the Nuggets with good vibes. We'll catch you later.